All right, what's up, guys? Just here, gonna do a little market recap. Just to introduce myself, my name is Chris, and just gonna go over some of the things that I've seen in the market today. Take it for what it is. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you some of the things that I've done in the market myself, kind of document my journey as I go along with improving my skills and technique as a day trader. So let's get right into the charts. All right, so one of my favorite stocks to trade because of volatility is Tesla. So if we look at the chart today for Tesla, we see that today's had a lot of movement, and we know why there was a lot of movement. Uh, First of all, because of what's going on right in the Middle East between Iran and Israel, with the situation over there, and whenever you have something like that, that's always going to have an effect on the market. But getting into the charts, we see this morning Tesla started off at about continuing the downtrend. It came all the way down to about 314, hit about a line of support, and it bounced off of there. And then from there, it kind of made its move all the way up. Now, I had really good momentum and good movement, and me and myself in particular, I was able to capitalize off of this movement right here, coming out of this liquidity zone. I was able to ride this candle here, 320. Basically, I took it all the way up to about 325. Now, I personally, I could have taken it a little longer, but since I'm kind of still, new at this, I sold earlier. But nevertheless, I was able to get green out of it. Right. One of the big thing is you don't want to have green turn red by staying longer than what you should or overstaying your welcome. So at the end of the day, this game is about compounding and building up. And I know as you go through it and get more and more experience, then our confidence will improve with it. So back to the chart anyway. So we see we have really good movement, and then right around this time here, I guess that's when the news started to come in. So basically, we lost about 50%, a little more. Yeah, about 50% of the gains for today, but it did make a nice little recovery, and coming off this previous day high, right? Because that was the high from yesterday, and which became a resistance and basically settled in right around here from support about 324 finishing the day. Now, some other stocks that I looked at today and actually made a couple of trades on was a SoFi stock. SoFi has been a really consistent stock for me. It's one of those stocks that I know you can kind of trade the range, but we know what was going on today, unfortunately, with Iran and Israel. Like most of the market, it got caught in all of that, what's going on. So it pulled down the market along with it. But anyway, so me personally today in the SPY, I was able to catch a day trade, just trading the shares. I try to diversify myself. Like I say, I've been doing this now for probably about consistently 6 months. So by no means, shape, or form, and I'm saying I'm a pro. I'm still learning a lot. But one of the things that I like to do is I like to kind of mix it up because I don't want to rush the process, right? I want to do things the right way. I know the most profitable aspect, using the least amount of money, would be to do the options. However, I do like to trade the shares because one thing I don't have to worry about, right, theta decay, and also I do have ownership in the stock, and it's a stock that I actually like in SoFi, And by me day trading, I actually kind of learn how the stocks move. I get a flow of, like what ranges did it like to trade in, or how to react. Is it a volatile stock? Is it a slow mover? Does it take the scenic route? Does it take the fast lane? So, and as we know, anyone who trades SoFi, it kind of takes a scenic route, right? I think about it like the going to California, taking that coastal highway, going down. That's what SoFi does. So, anyways, I was able to early on in the morning. We see there was a lot of good action there. I was not able to take advantage of it because I tend to personally try to wait the first 15 to 30 minutes just to kind of get an idea of what the market wants to do. Does it always work that way? No. But but a lot of times it does help me at least to kind of see which way the market is going. I know some people, they as soon as that clock hit, 9:30, ding, 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 they get in, they start trading, which is cool, but me personally, I don't do that because sometimes you don't know which way it's going. You get one of these really big candles that come up, and then out of nowhere, boom, they hit you with the red candle. And so I like to kind of get that initial, selling momentum or buying momentum out the way. But anyways, I kind of caught this trade about I think it was about 450, no, 448. I got into this trade, right? Because I said, okay, previous level of resistance was about the 445. It's 448. It bounced up, and then bam, what happened? I got caught, right? All right, so I entered the trade a little too early. And, usually one of those days, I would kind of wait a little longer, but I said I let the FOMO kind of get to me, right? That happens when you're kind of new into this game. So it ended up going all the way down to about 413. I think 409 was about the lowest. So I said, all right, I'm going to dollar cost average this. I know SoFi is really usually good for some bounce action. It moves slow, but it usually recoils back. So I said, all right, let me go ahead and average up. Bought some more into this. That's just my personal strategy, to each your own. I felt that, okay, I can bring my average cost down. I can be able to make a little more profit or make profit and get out the trade earlier. And guess what, guys? It's a good thing I did. Because we see, I was able to get out exactly at, I kind of rolled this a little higher than I should. Because as we know, as it begins to get closer and closer to resistance, with the kind of way that things were going today, how slow the market was and how volatile and unpredictable it was, I rolled up a little high, but I was able to get out at 437, take my profit, and good thing I did, because guess what? I think for the rest of the day, SoFi's high was 1438. It went through this liquidity zone, and then it just started having a sell-off about 1240. I think that was before the announcement of the Iran attacks, and then of course after that, the attacks in Israel, and after that, it just went down from there. So, that's just how the market goes. Unfortunately, news moves the market, and positive news brings things up, negative brings things down. All right, so looking at the SPY. All right, the ETF for the S&P 500, which is the stock market, right? It takes the top 500 companies in the market. SPY had decent action today. I mean, when you look at it, let me zoom this in. So when you look at it, it seems like there was really good movement. All right, so you had to sell off early this morning, right? It broke through one of its initial resistance, but then it rebounded and basically pulled off the pump fake, right? Because when it rebounded with this big candle, most people would think, hey, momentum, but especially when you look at here at the volume, you say, oh wow, look at that, a lot of selling, right? But nope. Did what the market usually does and trips you up, right? So anyways, I didn't get into the trade here, But there was a great opportunity to write it down all the way down to support. We see right here, broke here, the resistance, which became support at one point, but then now I rolled all the way down to what we call as the secondary support, right? Because when you do your chart, you should always try to plot out two levels of support, two levels of resistance. Uh, so had a really good bounce. I really wasn't trading the S&P 5. I'm sorry, the SPY today, but definitely will keep it on my top list for Monday because honestly, you could. I don't know why I didn't trade it today. I think because I was so focused on the the SoFi and the Tesla trades that I kind of got a little distracted. But anyway, we see here there was some really good opportunity, a really nice bounce off of this support, really good volume here, and it kind of just went its way on up to about 601, and then from there, let's see, about 310 ish. I'm not sure that was the time, but so anyways, one of the things that I've learned with trading, and trust me, very early on in my trading journey here, is that you have to be focused and pay attention to the news. All right, so one thing I have is CNBC. I usually put it on my phone. I stream it in, and then I put it on my headset so I can hear everything. Some people put in the TV behind them. I'm not saying you have to sit there and look at it, but you need to hear the breaking news. And what I've learned and been taught from others is that 10 and 2, all right, 10 and 2 o'clock, that is the time when big news comes in that will either sway the market in a good way or in a bad way. All right, so what happened at 2 o'clock today? And that was, I'm going to tell you about an error I made personally around that time. That's one thing I'm trying to be, just very transparent, right? I want everybody to know that, hey, I'm just a normal guy, just like you, a normal individual, trying to find a way to cut my ties with the corporate life, be able to get my freedom back. And I think this is the vehicle, when done properly, that it can be accomplished, but with patience, right? So anyways, about 2 o'clock, I was looking at possibly getting into another Tesla, it was a Meta trade at that time. I was just looking to trade the shares because I said, okay, it's Friday. I don't want to do anything too crazy, but I still want to try to take advantage of an opportunity when I see it. So they had a little sell-off around this time, so I was kind of watching this sell-off here, and probably about, let me see, about, so right here I was reading the candles, and I like the volume there, but one of the things that I should have really focused on, and I went against my own personal rules, is that this line here, that's the 200 line, right? The 200 EMA. And this line here, that is the 48 EMA, and this is the 9, right, EMA. So candles that close out the last 9, last 48, last 200. A lot of times I've noticed that this is very true. This is just facts of the stock market. When you have the shorter length moving averages, exponential moving averages, underneath the longer one, the 200, then the stock is in a downtrend. And if we go zoom in, we see that it is in a downtrend. So, two things. I kind of caught a falling knife because I kind of let the FOMO get to me, but that happens. But the good thing is that I'm trading a stock in a company that's a very strong company. And just earlier in the week, it was at a 700 level. So I know that there's a high probability that it will bounce. back. And if you look here at the lines at the chart here, it kind of had good support here at 687. So I got in about 689. But then, of course, because of the negative news, exactly at 2 o'clock, that's when the stock went down. And then what did I hear? Breaking news. So then from there, the stock kind of went down. But needless to say, I bought the shares because I know it's a strong company and I don't have to worry about time decay. And, all it takes is a couple of good positive articles about it, and this stock will more than likely recover. So those were the trades that I made today. Oh, and then I made one more trade at the end of the day. I got back into Tesla. I was able to take advantage of. So when you hear that negative news, one of the things I learned is that you have to be mentally focused. You can't get caught up, right? So you can't say, "Oh my God, what's happening to the market? Everything's crashing." You have to be an opportunist. Not to try to say, "Okay, I'm trying to benefit because some negativity." Unfortunately, we know that in the world things happen, but when major things take place, that really impacts the market. So right after that, there was great opportunity, right? So I was able to capitalize with a put that I bought, and once again, right now I take it on a kind of the slower pace. I know, people, they play 10 options, they buy 200, 100. Well, I'm just going to be transparent. Right now, I do at most 1 to 5. Majority of times, on like a volatile stock with Tesla, I do 1, because the worst thing you can do possible, in my opinion, is to try to go for gold in a big trade, swing for the fences, and end up blowing your account. I see it as taking little base hits, base hit here, base hit there, maybe a double, get a run, right? Manufacturing, nothing wrong with manufacturing runs. So anyways, took advantage of a put option on Tesla, got in about mid. I waited for it to kind of go past the. Well, the thing with the Tesla is that it wasn't in the downtrend, right? As much as we know Tesla has been going through because of self-infliction by their CEO, unfortunately, right? Who's now kind of backtracking everything. It's actually in an uptrend, right? Over the last few days, Tesla has had a nice recovery, a real nice recovery. And because of that, and also today, there was a law that's going to kind of take back some of the red tape with the whole, Tesla has a taxi, the driverless taxi coming up soon, right? So, it's kind of, you can see investors, they want to hold the stock. They don't want to let it crash because they have high anticipation for Tesla. As we know, Tesla itself is a great company. Unfortunately, nothing involved with politics, but when you put yourself into that arena, regardless of how you feel, it's all about how the public views you. And unfortunately, there were some things that Elon Musk did that shine a lot of negative light onto him. And we know that he is the CEO of the company, and by doing that, unfortunately, investors, get a little skittish. So, anyways, we see that they're coming back because Tesla itself is an awesome company. I think they're very innovative. Artificial intelligence, they're one of the leaders. They involve the Starlink. They have the what's it called? The energy efficient with the Teslas, right? The EVs, with the solar power, with the SpaceX. So regardless of someone's personal feelings about Elon Musk, we can't deny that the company itself is a well-ran company. So, anyways, we know uh, about a week and a half from now, I think it's June 22nd, they're gonna Elon Musk is set to release their driverless taxi. So we'll see, you know. But anyway, even this, in spite of what was going on today, we see Tesla was made it all the way back to the low of day, about 50% in the move, and then it was able to rebound and basically finish at one of its original supports. So we'll see what happens with Monday. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to come on here for a moment, just go briefly, well, a little more than briefly, just to kind of talk about the things that I saw in the market today. So hey, if you want to, go ahead and drop a comment, see things that talk about things that you maybe saw in the market today, and go ahead and leave a like. I appreciate it, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So this is one of the things I think I'm going to try to get going, just to kind of give a recap of just my day in the stock market, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. I think it's nice to hear the perspective of someone, because we see so many videos of guys out here, and hey, big props to them. They're doing wonderful things. I love it. I've learned a lot from these guys, but I just felt like, hey, I never see videos out here from just a newbie. How are you doing in the market as a new person? So, hey, you know what? Anybody that's viewing this video, I would love to hear your story, and hope to see you soon. Take care. Peace.